Welcome back to Breakfast with Bob, Boston Marathon Edition. My name is Bob Babbitt. We're presented to you by Hyland's Leg Cramps. Stop the cramps, not the race. And the NormaTec Pulse Recovery System, the 120th Boston Marathon. Our guest, four-time USATF Ultrarunner of the Year, Mr. Mike Wardian. Mike, how the heck are you?
Man, I'm so good. Thank you very much for having me. It's a pleasure to get to see you in such a cool location, and Boston Marathon's super special to me. It got me into running.
Does it really? Was it the first marathon you heard about?
First marathon I heard about, it inspired me to start running, and I actually didn't know you had to qualify to get into it.
Yeah.
So it was back in the 90s. There was no real internet present. So
No, yeah, right.
Yeah, I had to send a self-addressed stamped envelope. I got the thing back. It said, "What's your qualifying time?" And I
said, I'm a nice guy.
Yeah, I said I'm a nice guy. Like,
Let me in.
wait, I have to qualify, and so then I did, and I've been running ever since.
And so were you a runner in grammar school, high school, that type of stuff? Or
No, man, I was a lacrosse player growing up.
Okay, and so the Boston was really when you said, okay, I got to qualify, and that started the whole running journey.
Yeah, that started my running journey. It kind of put me on the path of where I am now, and I've just continued to kind of try and improve and see what I can do. And it's been such a magnificent journey and led me all over the world. And
I was going to say,
yeah.
How many Olympic trials have you ended up going to with the marathon?
3 Olympic trials.
Very cool.
The first, I didn't make it this last year, but I'm hoping to take a little break. I've been doing some longer stuff, and so hopefully be back there for the next one.
What I love is you're one of those guys who runs, but you bring a fun aspect, right? Because you're always looking for a challenge. Like, can I run 2 marathons in one day?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, that type of stuff. Is that what gets you going?
I think it all gets me going. Running fast, running long, like 100-milers, 50-milers, 100Ks, qualifying for world teams, the adventure of going to new places, meeting new friends, exploring different cultures, foods, terrain, challenges, like, maybe focusing on things that aren't your strong suit, but also like kind of drive you and make you have an appreciation for the ability to move through the world under your own 2 feet.
Toughest run you've ever done?
I've been lucky to, I guess lucky in quotations, but I've been lucky to be able to do some really tough ones. Like my friends are just finishing Marathon des Sables, where you run across the Sahara Desert with your all your kit on your back for a week.
And I don't think people understand, when you're doing Marathon des Sables, there's no aid stations, there's no nothing, right? You have to carry enough. Is it each day you carry enough for that day, or do you have to have enough for basically the whole week?
No, you carry everything you start the week with everything you're going to use for the week, and you only get water every day.
So they'll provide you with water, but in terms of tent, sleeping bag, whatever you decide to carry, or you can go as light as you want or as heavy you want, but you have to carry it.
Yeah, and you have to have a minimum of 2,000 calories a day. So they
force you to have enough, force you to die.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and then I've done races like Badwater in Death Valley. Last year I was able to take part in some crazy races. There's Diagonal de Fou. It's
what is that?
It's in French. The way that I understand the translation is it's the crossing of the crazies, and so you run 100 miles across Reunion Island, which is off the coast of Madagascar, and it's just one of the most insanely beautiful places I've ever been. It was actually where I understand that Hoka was founded by John Luke and Nico.
Yes.
So there's these
some good
different
heritage and history
different heritage and history, but also just some of the most incredibly beautiful trails and just excited, passionate people about trail running. So that one was hard. It took me 34 hours to finish, which is my longest day out on a run.
So talk about, you did 2 marathons in one day. I'm guessing that one of them was Rock and Roll Las Vegas because it's at nighttime. What was it?
That was actually true, yeah. So I did the Rock and Roll San Antonio in the morning.
That's right.
And I won that race. My goal was to try to run both races under 2 hours and 30 minutes. I ran 2:31 in San Antonio. I jumped on a plane. My brother was my crew, so we ran to the start of the race, which was like 4 miles. We did the race, ran back to the hotel 4 miles, jumped on the plane. I wasn't smart. It was a Southwest plane, so there was no like seating, so I was like cramped in the middle. get to Vegas. We have about an hour and a half before the race. Do a little shakeout run, 2 miles at the start of the race. Run the race. I ended up not doing the time that I wanted. I ended up having to go to the bathroom a little bit too much because I slammed too much water between the races trying to hydrate. And ended up 10th in 256, 257.
So how'd you do in the first one in San Antonio?
I won the first one.
You won the first one?
Yeah. So I won the first
and 10th
one.
in the same day?
Yeah.
Who else is doing that? Nobody.
There were some other people that were doing the both races, but I don't think they were able to do as well. Maybe
fastest marathon dressed as a superhero. What was your superhero? Who was it?
I'm a big fan of Spiderman, so I was rocking the Spiderman outfit.
Now, and when you're running, because I've seen sometimes when we do the Elvis thing, and guys will say, I'm in an Elvis outfit, and they'll have burns hanging off the glasses, and that's it. You go full outfit.
No, yeah, this was a full-on Spider-Man outfit. You know, the full bodysuit, nice and tight.
Mask.
I had the. Oh yeah, you got to wear the mask. And actually, I had the mask with my buddy just broke my record at London last year.
What?
Yeah, but he cut out the eye holes.
That doesn't count.
And the mouth. No, it counts, man. Guinness was there. But I had it with the eyepieces in, and it kind of looks like the top of this microphone. So when the sun hits it, you get all these sunspots. And then, I didn't really have the mouth open, so I was drinking water through the mask. Through the
flammable plastic crap.
Yeah.
That's
Well,
poisoning.
actually, no. It's a cloth mask.
Okay, yeah.
So it's one of the real ones. And then I had the fake muscles. So if you spill water on the fake muscles,
they shrivel, and it just adds weight.
Yes, exactly. So definitely, Paul, I'm gonna get that record back, I think. Buddy.
What did he run? Or what did you run?
I ran 2:34, and he ran 2:27 last year. So
unbelievable.
Yeah, so it's pretty fast.
So how many marathons total, marathons and ultras have you done? Do you have any idea?
Oh, probably around 250 of both, and I'd say probably over 175 marathons or something like that.
So one of those is North Pole Marathon.
I know, yeah. My friends do. That's actually this weekend because they got delayed because of weather. So
they didn't have enough snow?
No, actually, the runway cracked as they were trying to come in with the second plane this year.
Oh my God!
So then they had to figure out how to get because they usually go in 2 flights.
Yes.
So I won that 2 years ago in 2014.
And what'd you run in that thing?
I think I ran one of the faster times. It was around. It's depends every year, but I ran around 4 hours and I won by about an hour.
And what did you find to be the biggest challenges to running in that type of environment?
It's incredibly cold, so it's negative 40 Celsius. So if you take your gloves off for more than 15 seconds, you start to get frostbite.
Sort of almost as cold as it is in this area right here?
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah, it's similar. We might have to get our parkas out.
I know, my parkas out. Yeah.
But then I think basically the thing is I wore this thing called the Cold Avenger, which covers your face, so you kind of look like Bane from Batman also.
Yes.
Yeah, so it's covering your face. So being able to fuel with a mask on like that is really challenging. So basically I did the marathon on just a really minimal amount of fuel.
How about shoe-wise? What did you have to wear, bottle caps on the bottom of your shoes?
No, actually, no, man. I was able to wear my
regular hokas?
Yeah, I wore my. What I was worried about was the traction too, but I wore Stinson ATRs.
Yes.
So that's just a regular hoka.
Yeah.
I got them a size bigger, and then I wore 3 pairs of socks. So I had my Injinjis on. And then 2 pairs of the thickest, craziest wool socks you've ever seen from REI. That was it.
So what's interesting is you're sort of having to be a little bit of a pioneer, because a lot of this stuff, when you're putting on a Spider-Man outfit, most people are wearing Spider-Man, or if you're wearing Elvis, we're running slow, right? We're sort of jogging, we're stopping for beers, we're playing Elvis tunes. You're running fast.
Yeah.
So, the gear you're wearing has to not restrict you from running fast. Do you go out in the neighborhood in your Spider-Man outfit and test this stuff out and make sure it works?
I actually do, yeah. So, and what is awesome is the amount of just insanely happy people that you see as you're doing your training runs in the kit.
In the Spider-Man kit.
Yeah, and I can't wait. If we were talking about the Elvis kit,
yes,
man, but if you get me some of that, there will be some awesome
Some neighbors are going to be really excited about Elvis moving into the neighborhood.
Yeah, exactly.
Thank you very much.
There goes the neighborhood.
There
maybe
goes the neighborhood.
Yeah, I don't know.
That. So, besides Spider-Man, what other outfits have you worn, or are you usually Spider guy?
Usually I'm Spider-Man. Usually I've been Spider-Man, so I've done it a couple times. And
yeah.
So Spider-Man is my go-to. I've also run pushing my kid in the jog strollers. Set a world,
nice.
Yeah. So set a world record pushing our sons in a jog stroller.
With both of them the same time?
No, so different
Separate.
times. Yeah.
Okay, going one at a time.
Well, yeah, so one at a time. So I set one with our first son, Pierce,
Yes.
who's now 9. So it's been quite a while.
Yeah.
And then our second son, Grant, I was like, well, I got to at least try with Grant.
Totally.
I mean, you can't have one and not the other.
So is one faster than the other?
Yeah, so actually I ran faster with Grant, but there was a guy that we had a battle, like a diaper.
Back and forth?
Yeah. So
Trying to shove the jogger out in front of him?
No. He ran 2:31 and I ran 2:34, and so his time was actually faster, but I still have the record because he hasn't submitted the paperwork yet. So yeah, it's crazy.
You're going side by side with another guy in a jogger.
Yeah, it was at the Route 66 Marathon, and it was really cool. We actually ended up first and second overall in the
race.
In the marathon.
And you're pushing joggers.
And pushing baby joggers.
That is hilarious.
Yeah, it was pretty crazy.
Did you know the guy?
Oh, yeah, he's a really good runner.
friend of yours?
Yeah.
So did you know he was coming?
Yeah. We set it up to
Okay.
Yeah,
so it's not like you show up. Oh well, I'm going to go do the. Oh, what's this other guy doing here?
No.
That is cool. So yesterday, you ran the 5K blindfolded.
I did.
What led to that? Did you just want to get a sense of what it's like to be a sight impaired athlete?
Actually, my buddy Kyle reached out to me. He works with a group or an organization called Team with a Vision.
Okay, yes.
And it was to help raise awareness for people that are visually impaired and also blind.
Okay.
And so it was a really cool thing. It's called the Blindfold Challenge.
Yes.
And it's basically you have the option of either guiding someone that's visually impaired or blind, or you have the option of being blindfolded yourself. And Kyle said, like, which would you prefer to do? And I thought it would be really interesting and informative to do the challenge blindfolded myself. So, like, I'd never run blindfolded. Well, I mean, the visual impairment with the Spider-Man outfit being set aside, but, like, I've never really had that experience.
Sightless, yeah,
totally sightless. So you put on like a blackout mask, and then I had a bandana on top of that to just make sure it's like pin the tail. Yeah, it's like pin the tail on the donkey. Like
nothing.
Couldn't see anything.
How scary?
It was unbelievably scary.
Yeah.
And I felt super vulnerable, and I felt really exposed, but then dependent. And it's a really weird feeling because as you mature as a person and as an adult, you have a sense of a presence about you, right?
Yes.
And you
lose
feel
that
like
all when you're sight impaired. You have no sense of anything.
Right, and not even like just like I was. And I did a training run with Inside Tracker and Sweet Green on Friday evening, and I met my guide for the first time, and I didn't know him. Like, it was just I'd met him over email. This guy, Chad, super cool guy.
Who you have to trust with your life, by the way.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah. The guy you've met for 4 minutes.
Yes.
Over, it's like, we're talking online dating is scary?
Yeah.
This is worse.
Yeah, this is just insanely, but like, so we did the training run, and, I was going maybe like 12, 13-minute miles.
Yes.
Just basically trying to get a feel for how it works. You're tethered together. They guide you by arm position, but also then by verbal cues.
Yeah.
But it's also weird because like being a runner as long as I have, like I know what distances are, but like when you start breaking it down into 50 feet or 25 feet, or is it how many steps is that? Yeah. And then like, is the curb coming? Is it not coming? Is there a manhole cover? So it worked. It went really well. I felt by the end of the run I was able to run somewhat normal and then you have to like match your stride with the other person and not clip legs and
other people. That's the biggest hazard, because if you start too far back, Or if you start up front, it's not really bad because people just go around you.
Right.
But if you're a fast guy,
Right.
So you were probably weaving the entire time without seeing what you're weaving around.
Yes, exactly. And so we during the BAA 5K, which is where the blindfold challenge took place yesterday, we tried to get to the start line in time, and it seemed like there were so many people that we didn't get up to the very, very front. So we spent the first mile navigating our way through everybody. I think we ran 9:06, and then we opened up a little bit, and I think the final time was like 20:32 or something.
Yeah. Wow.
So we were able to really pick it up the last couple of miles.
That is so cool. And it really gives you an appreciation of what a sight-impaired person goes through on a daily basis, just walking the streets and crossing.
That's what I was going to say, yeah.
It's pretty amazing.
It's unbelievably amazing. I mean, I was impressed with what these people are able to achieve with the resources they have, and for them to be able to not just run the race and take part in the event, but like navigate to the start, figure out what they're going to do with their equipment, just getting to the right corral and having the ability to, like, I was worried about, like, how do I go to the porta potty? Like, like that kind of stuff is like, finding your way from there back to the start.
Losing your guide.
Yeah, exactly.
or
like someone drops down in front of you to tie their shoe and
you have no idea.
Yeah, you have no idea.
Pile drive over them.
Yeah.
So you're a guy who's running a lot of marathons, and how have you managed to stay healthy and not deal with nagging injuries, or do you?
No, I think I've been really fortunate to stay healthy. I think I have a good group of sponsors that have really have a lot of good products that help me maintain my health. I mean, one of them is the one we were talking about earlier, but Hoka. I mean, that's before I was in Hoka's, I ended up getting my only really big injury in my career. I had 5 stress fractures of my pelvis and 5 hernias all at the same time.
Oh my God.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And since I've been in Hoka's, that was in 2012. That's when I knew John, Luke, and Nico before that. But that's when I was like, I have no interest in getting hurt again. And I switched over to running in Hoka's, and I've run an average of maybe 50 races a year since then. And
50 races a year.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Good for you.
So I've been super happy with the way they've been able to protect me, and then all the other sponsors I have, and then obviously like taking care of your body,
really
eating
essential.
really healthy.
Yep.
And then I'm really passionate about what we do, and so I think that really happens to help you be able to motivate to stay healthy and do the right things to put yourself in a good position.
Now I hear something about might be doing all the major marathons this year.
Yeah, so that's actually really cool. I'm taking part in all the Abbott World Marathon majors, so I've just secured entry into the last one, which was Berlin. So I did Tokyo a couple weeks ago.
Yeah.
Then I have Boston this weekend, London next weekend, and then I have 400 milers this summer, and then I go.
So besides the Marathon Majors, you're also doing 400s.
Yeah, I'm doing 400s all over the world, and then some longer ultra stuff, and some obviously shorter 10K half marathon.
Squeezing
all that
those,
kind of stuff.
Yeah. 7. Are there 7 marathon majors?
There's 6.
6. Okay.
6. So then Berlin in the fall in September,
New York
October.
is in there,
is Chicago, and then New York is the last one in November. And then maybe we'll end up doing the Elvis thing. And
maybe we'll do a little Elvis thing. And the other thing we should think about is, now that you've been a sight-impaired guy, we should find out if there's some athlete who might need a little pacing. Because you get the same medal that the Paralympic athlete gets.
Yeah, that's pretty
amazing.
amazing.
Might be a medal at Rio, maybe, or Tokyo.
Yeah, exactly.
Like that.
Yeah, man, I would love to be able to give back to that kind of community, knowing what it takes. And if I could be of help, I'd love to.
And what are the goals for tomorrow? No Spiderman tomorrow.
No, but I got something neat planned. So my goal is to try to be between 220, maybe like 220 to 225, be in
Wow.
contention to win the Masters category.
Yes, yeah.
But then I'm also going to be running with a GoPro to try to get some really cool footage of the course.
And you wear that in the chest or head?
Yeah, I got a chesty, yeah.
A chesty.
Yeah.
Good man.
So that'll be cool. So hopefully get some really neat content from the start of the race, Wellesley,
Yes.
Heartbreak Hill, of course, and that area. And I really want to capture the feel of the race, and I think that's important. And then obviously Boylston Street is its own animal.
It is.
Getting down there and just being a part of that whole crowd.
I think it's going to be tough for you to go through Wellesley running fast and not stopping. That's
It's
always
tough every year,
yeah.
man. They're like the sirens. I think of them as like from the old, epic tales. You're just trying to like do your job and run as fast as you can, and then you have these beautiful
women for a mile and a half screaming at you.
Beautiful women and just awesome fans, and it's hard not to like slap five. And usually I slap five, but I don't stop for kisses.
I love that. Mike, have a great time tomorrow. Love the energy you bring to the sport, because there's obviously a lot of fast athletes, a lot of athletes with personality. It's always fun to find someone with both.
Thank you. Yeah, it's a
it.
pleasure, and thank you for doing what you do. It's nice to have someone who really knows what they're doing, be able to speak to the sport in the way that you do.
I appreciate it. Mike Wardian has been our guest. Again, we are at the 120th edition of the Boston Marathon. Hold on, everybody. We will be right back.